Hello everyone, welcome back to some more of our Garden of Sinners final record reading. We are on chapter 3. We might finish today. I don't know actually. We'll see how long it goes. I do know that chapter 3 and then there's like more, but they're not called like chapters after this. So we'll see how long it goes because of course it's tough to read for more than an hour. I'd like to read for about an hour. It's a nice amount. I can come in, do the reading, and not have to worry about, killing my throat. Let us get going. Let me bring up my book here. Just, whoop, there it is. Damn good thing I have magic book appearing powers. And let's continue on with chapter 3. So they all died last time. Again. They keep dying. All of them. Which is very confusing. One thing to note is that the girl that was already dead in the room, her name was, if I scroll up because I forgot it, was an OG. It was what's her face? The girl who was there with the Ishizue-san, right? Someone in the comments was like, "Oh man, it's a good thing Tanner didn't, or it's a shame Tanner didn't Google who she was." And I just gave a Google and I saw a name of an entire other Nasu-related work, and I'm like, okay, good to know. I'm not going to read anymore, but know that she is related to another Nasu work, which will we read in the future? Maybe. We'll see. Now that it's officially been tied in, I guess we can. But let's get going here with Chapter 3. So, Chapter 3. From 17 o'clock to 20:30. I'm not going to do the math on that because I've made mistakes before. 23rd of September 2009, somewhere in Mifune City. The time is midnight. The sound kari kari and kata kata come from the traditional style wooden apartment that was built 30 years ago. It's this kind of plot again? My consciousness was still a little blurry, but I'm already disappointed. I never learned, lost my way yet again, and drifted along with the current. No way, that's impossible. I can't be changed anymore. The page numbers are all wrong. I'm going to be eliminated. This time I won't be chosen. What? Please calm down, Oji-senpai. There's still 6 hours till dawn. Last time I used 3 hours to produce a book. It'd be too hard to do it all again. You know there's a difference between photocopier paper and offset printing, right? This is the 5th anniversary memorial book for the Popularity Club. Oh, it says it's Popularity Club is subject to change. I think that's a mistranslation, or rather a weird translation. It means like a club, like a fan club, right? I'm guessing, right? Are they making doujins? If it isn't made properly, then that would be a disaster. Excuse me. Oh, everyone's busy. Can you please pass Fujino-san this gift? It's pickled seaweed. Can I sit here? Where should I begin helping out? I will pass you the background of the center spread. Because this is the most important shot of the protagonist's first time flying up in the sky, the details of the buildings have to be outlined. Oh, you can use the night view of this apartment as a reference. That's ridiculous. I just came back from work to my friend's house and was given a question from the entrance exam of an art university. This organization is even more ruthless than my company. Best of all, it's hand-painted. Oji-sensei, since you earn so much money, would you consider buying an art tablet? Income and operation procedure are two totally different things altogether, Kokuto-san. Electronics seems to contradict my aesthetics. Copy and paste is not my thing. Real art should be imitated. Copy. That is how the soul of the artist continues to flow. This is to allow the continuation of the artistic epidemic. Meme. Now, they don't mean meme they don't mean like an internet meme. Look up the original definition of meme if you're confused here, because that is a word that has changed over time, definitely. Degradation, or rather precise mimicry, is due to evolution, but electronic, if the data is exactly the same as the original, there'll be no improvement. There won't even be a soul. That is not art. It is just ordinary groceries. Oh, they're making manga. Okay. So manga is considered to be the borderline. Well, I really like this part of Oji-senpai. Your partner's still asleep? The draft of the novel has been handed in already? Or maybe not. Well, they're making just doujins, period, right? They're making either, I don't know, The draft of the novel has already been handed in. She slept when I wasn't looking. You can just wake her up without any mercy, Kokuto-san. Okay, hey. It's already nighttime, teacher. Please get up. Bam. My head was hit with something and I woke up. I straightened out my body and looked around the room. I fell asleep? I actually slept? I looked at the clock and the time was a bit after 12 a.m. This is the hellish draft rush that requires a completed draft to be sent to the printing factory by 6 a.m. to be printed and finished in 3 hours, or there won't be enough time. You know, it's a good thing I did the summer Dojin event in Fate, because that explains a lot of this. Even though I don't want to say this, but if the draft wasn't finished in 6 hours, the story with me as the main character will come to an end. Bad end. You can still doze off in this kind of situation. Let me see the progress on the draft. What's this? There's not much left. You just need to write the postscript that you're already done. You can say that, but I suddenly couldn't remember what I wanted to write. Messiah-chan, how about your part? Gone. Help. It'll be a goner. It would be worse if I wasn't elected. I'll just die when it happens. As a lady gazing at the last leaf of a tree, it'll be selling our soul to our desire devil. When the result from this job that barely makes ends meet is like that election failed, this won't be pretty at all. What the frick is being said? Boy, are we back to a slightly rough translation? I noticed that they have a hard time with the dialogue. Probably because the fan translation has no idea what's going on either. Messiah-chan's hands did not even slow down as she complained. Messiah-chan did not give up in her work, even though she was mentally vulnerable and hiccups in her plans. This was the famous student council president that was perfect since the school days. I was hoping you would become a member of the society that could hand in their work in time. Fujino, should I enlarge this part? Would the characters look livelier if they were drawn in a fisheye style? Oh, please. If you increase the difficulty on your own accord, Kokuto-san will not be able to say anything, Messiah-san. A leopard cannot change its spots. Why did we walk down this path anyway? If we were not found out by the ex-student council president when we were hiding at the student council office, our life would be different at this moment. Kokuto-san was completing Messiah-chan's sketches while complaining. She was now an outstanding career woman serving in a first-class enterprise. I had already washed my hands from participating in this kind of work. No one can stop me now. Although she said that when she left the club, she would come to our rescue no matter what during our difficulties. It seemed that her work was even more outstanding than Messiah-chan. Rumor had it that her stepfather was a famous artist. After Fujino-san graduated from university, she became the secretary for the Reirokon. What is a Reirokon? I think I'm going to Google that. I think I'm going to hit that up with the Google. What is a Reirokon? It is... What? The archetype version of Tosaka Rin? What? Okay. There's a lot of Fate prototype stuff that okay. Well, that's a lot of Fate prototype stuff I've never even heard of. Huh. I wonder if that's related or if that's just a reused term. Okay. It was heard her reason for coming here was that Messiah-chan complained instead of focusing on bridal training, why don't you come out here and help me? Oh, this is 10 years later? Oh my god, wait, what? Okay, sorry, I skipped ahead a little bit. I, on the other hand, was forced to write novels while working together with Messiah-chan, whose hobby was publishing magazines. This was a scene on a summer day in 2009. It was 10 years after we graduated from Ryan Girls Academy that we were still happily together. How the hell? I say, what is the novelette this time? Is it another mystery? My ears are starving to listen to something when I'm drawing, so please tell me the summary. Oh my god, wait, hold up. My eyes sometimes dart ahead and I'm looking and I'm like, I can't believe this is what we're doing. Don't tell me. Oh god. Okay. Let's read. Kokuto-san was a person that liked to multitask. Her hearing and touch could be used separately. Although it was bad to discuss the novelette that was not yet done, the story plot was complete, so I began to explain the novelette summary. Oh, sorry for the cut there. Things just happen sometimes. Anyways. It's a story about a series of murders with Ryan Girls Academy's lobby as the setting. The cast is us during our schooling era. It was originally a mystery, but there were zombies outside the hotel. So, did we just read two dojins? Huh. Huh. The expression of the other three became pale and stark. The background of the novel that used Ryan Girls Academy 10 years ago, it was as if taboo to be reminded of our past among ourselves. Well, it's all right. So, what was the murder case like? Was the first victim Oji-senpai? The first victim was not real. The later ones are whom everyone recognizes. I started to describe the plot of the novel. There were 8 girls at the hotel. Girl A was killed by Girl B. Girl B was killed by Girl C. Girl C was killed by Girl D. As if it was like a cycle of continuous independent murder cases. Can I interject? So you're saying that before Girl B had a chance to proclaim her plans to kill Girl A, Girl B was killed by Girl C, so that means that Girl C was killed by Girl D, and so on. I feel there's some problem with that. Yeah. There is no problem with that. Instead of saying that the process is like a cycle, it could be said that the uncovering of the truth was passed on to the next murderer, just like the process of pass the bucket. We all know pass the bucket, of course. Not bad there, Messiah-chan. The short story will be known as the Pass the Bucket Murder Case. Hold on, that's unexpected. Your sarcasm is too much. Well, there's no point in criticizing on the writing style. The title is the one which proved to be fatal. That's not right. It's the Ayushi lion mask. Please refer to Doraemon for further information. Yo. Doraemon is canon to fate? Oh. That's just references flying over my head. Kokuto, who had already proclaimed to have her hands clean, suddenly interjected. Her scent towards the original story was so sharp that it was scary. I like it. However, according to the author herself, how would the story end? Were you killed? Were you still alive? Well, the fact is that you should read the original story. I'm not that charitable, just spoil the ending for you. I stood up from the office table, opened the door, and stepped onto the balcony. It was because this cheap apartment was built on a high platform, you could view the entire city from here. It was close to midnight. There were a few lights that could be seen from the residential areas. The only lights remaining were coming from the subways and the streetlights. The population of the city was becoming lesser and lesser. There was close to 20,000 people living here a few years ago. It was cut down to approximately 10% of that original amount. Wow. It was as if the empty residential houses were graves, weathered down by rain and snow. There were mysterious disappearances across the world over the past 10 years. Oh, never mind. Here I thought we were like in the real world. Nope, something's going on here. Neighbors disappeared as if they did not exist in the first place. People randomly disappeared without a trace until now. Mysteriously up until now. Humans were really hardy, even though there was uproar during the first year it started happening. 3 years later, it had become daily occurrences. If you think about it, for those that could not predict the future, tomorrow is already something that has nothing to be happy about. Towards the point where you disappear, you would think, is it my turn now, and leisurely accept it. We would want to live each day without any regret, but at the same time to be able to think about it positively. We currently live in this life that slowly crawled by, surviving each and every tomorrow. One day, we will disappear. That was the crisis we were facing in 6 hours. The ending is not the sad part. I felt that. Closing my eyes during these peaceful days was a little sad. The tension that existed before melted when I returned to the room. It looked like peaceful scenery. It seemed the most difficult part was over. There were only 4 pages left that needed work. It could be finished within the deadline. This looks better. It's time to pull out the trump cards. Just leave it be, Oji-senpai. Messiah, please allow me to brew another pot of tea. I'll use the Marie Antoinette you brought back from Paris. I really have trump cards, really? Messiah-chan really wanted to reveal her trump cards. Kokuto carelessly dealt with her while the draft continued. The rest of us chatted on aimlessly while dealing with the work in front of us. About work, about family, about item prices, about hobbies, about tomorrow, about the past, about love. This was a golden opportunity to voice out whatever it was in our minds as we chase different things. If I could, I would like to stay in this sleep as if being submerged in quicksand. In the end, I cannot. All right, I had a dream before this. I said something I should not have touched. What's wrong, Bucket Passing Sensei? At least just call me Bucket Sensei. It felt like when I woke up from the dream, we'll notice that the world will have 90 minutes before it ends and there was an uproar or something. Ellipses. Line. Line. Well, the first one wasn't on ellipses, but I realized that that's okay. We're good. Anyways, silence. The sound from the scratching of pens stopped. Everyone was staring at each other solemnly without saying anything. What's wrong? Nothing. Continue on whatever you're working on. What about that dream? Oh, it was my Mystic Eye of Future sight that could predict the future. It will always allow me to see the end where we all die. Even though we do our best to avoid it, it will always fail in the end. No matter how many opportunities there are, no matter which path we choose, it will still end up in failure. It could be because we lack the ability to do anything. Although I could predict the future, I could not make any use of it. Something like that. I mentioned a topic that we rarely touched on. In other words, this kind of topic will definitely be laughed upon. However, my dear friend, Azaka Kokdo accepted it without any hesitation. No matter what option we choose, it's still impossible. Could the problem be due to the solution itself? I was immediately seen through like that. The situation itself was the problem? Right. It was because we were already on the wrong path since the beginning of the 90 minutes. Well, it will not matter what we choose to help the situation. If we were to change the future, we should have realized it before we started the counting down. Well, ignoring each of our fates, I guess that the fate of the world that has seen through the future sight is not changeable. I see. I don't really understand, but Kokdo's explanation was really convincing. This is the person that became someone successful in the country's largest cosmetic company and decided not to tell us. Oh, wow. Okay. Huh. Isn't Shiseido the company that requires you to master some occult techniques before you climb the corporate ladder? Huh. That seems like a big reference. So let me just I'm gonna Google the Shiseido here and see. Is that a reference to something? Let's see here. God, I hate Bing, but I gotta use it. Shiseido. Okay, well, I put in the Japanese letters and that didn't help. Oh. Oh, it's real. Shiseido Company Limited is a Japanese multinational cosmetic company. Oh, it's real. Huh. Like, that's just a straight up, like, 100% reference to a real company. Huh. Well, you learned something new. Anyways, please don't interrupt this. Fellow elegant authors, I am serious. Senpai and Fujino, this is serious. Did whatever I had said ring any bells for you? After Kokdo pointed it out, the two of them nodded their heads solemnly. Right. What you've said is true. The topic about the dream, I have some impression of it. No, it should be said that I had a dream as well. We were running away from zombie waves killing each other. Another one that we were trying to become idols but failed miserably with no way out, so we had to pull favors and organize a farewell concert, which ended up with no one attending. I looked up at the spotlight while muttering, this is another end of the world. Those kind of dreams. Me too. But the content was not like the idol one. For example, it was one of those summers I was walking down the street, muttered, it feels like the end of the world or something. When suddenly everyone disappeared, it gave me a fright. Other than that, I had a night where my brother was killed by the killer rabbit. Oh my god. Why does he always reference the same damn rabbit from Monty Python? It keeps happening. It's not just here, it's in everything. Like, I'm legitimately starting to believe that this rabbit, it's not just a reference. This rabbit is a Nasuverse character now, and that's scary. That's scary to think about. And ha 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 ha. That's no laughing matter with this rabbit here. In conclusion, everyone had similar dreams. No, rather, everyone experienced firsthand the same kind of feeling. I hate this. I try not to think about it, and now we cannot just foolishly deal with this anymore. Let me say this. Are we continuously doing this exact same thing over and over? Are you pointing out that we are continuously living in a parallel universe? No, that's not what I meant. How do I say this? It was as if we were beings that were created. We were acting out our roles, living on a stage, right? It was as if someone was dreaming, at the same time pulling in other people into that dream. Okay, I'm starting to figure this out. That's right, just like that. Oji-senpai, your intuition is really spot on. Oh, how rude. I am a woman that only speaks the truth. Well, I only thought about that just now, because I feel like life right now has a lack of reality, just like a dream. I'm worried that you are all sucked into my dream. Senpai? Wasn't it obvious? This sort of life, it shouldn't be real no matter what. I, who had committed sins in Ryan, how would I have obtained this kind of future? That is why I had already noticed it earlier that all of this could be fake. It was as if she was mocking herself. She gave a little smile and set down her pen that she had used for 10 years back onto the table. But this should not be Senpai's dream, right? No, it sounds like... Since when do we find ourselves in this paradox? The situation about being in a dream and not in reality or not could be disregarded. In fact, we could tell this place is fake. Everyone had the same dream for no apparent reason. Even dreaming about it more than once is not possible. There should be some kind of reason. Somehow we had forgotten. In other words, if we could remember the reason, we should be able to end this paradox. However, what should we do? We should just focus on finding real objects. Which of it is real and which of it is fake? If we could differentiate between them, exposed to the real body, the dream will collapse. But if this situation did not happen, that means we had lost to this paradox countlessly. Just as what Kokuto had said, there should be a motive for us to face this sort of situation, which led to Shizune Seo continuously experiencing these fake stories, countlessly forced to see the future where the world ended. We tried our best to avoid that ending countless times, but in the end, we would all fail regardless. So was this time. We will perish together at dawn. As Kokuto pointed out, there could be some things that were fake. We were the fake ones. Our relationship was not like this before. We were not able to laugh together this way. Messiah Oji and Fujino Asagami were quiet because they understood this point. Whose dream this was, or how it exists in the first place, was not important. However, everyone had already begun to notice the beginning of everything. Whoa, what button did I press? Whoa, I pressed the wrong button. Oh god. Okay, what? Okay, here we are. Am I here? Yes, good. Whew, I was slightly worried. I'm like, did I lose the words? Everything's spiraling out of control! Okay. However, everyone had already begun to notice the beginning of everything. No matter this time, the last time, the time before last, as well as the doomsday that we always forgotten, the culprit was that academy. If that day 10 years ago, that night, in the room at Ryan Girls Academy, that thing did not happen, we would not be this way now. And then, someone's phone started ringing. Here's the latest news. Due to the aging of the third phase of the reproduction simulation on Earth, what? Disposal was decided upon those areas and the operation will begin at 0000 hours today. We will terminate the virtual lives in these residential reproduction simulations. What? What? We will not be able to have the capacity to accommodate everyone as the estimation for the fourth phase was adequate. Everyone will be destroyed in their own simulation after 5 hours. Please look forward to your end to arrive within the time left. What? The sounds cha-cha-cha appeared following the announcement. I ran up to the balcony and had a look. The corner of the Mifune city that was now void of any light, it was as if an eraser had ran through. The corner became entirely white. Oh, so this time it's actually science fiction. We're actually living in virtual reality online. This kind of setting is not that bad. Isn't it too sudden? And where was the foreshadowing? This is the wildest thing. Even though Messiah-chan protested against this sudden end, it was already fated to be. The world was actually operating under computer-simulated programs. The announcement, "Your world is outdated, thus I will unplug it," and being struck by a meteor suddenly did not have any differences at all. Because the end of the world and humans did not have any relationship at all. No matter how peaceful it was inside, no matter how much of a courteous life you lived in, everything will have a cruel end due to the outside. That was a discontinuation. It was as if a halt in production, as if a recall from sale. Please don't worry. Even though it ended here, the story will continue on. Even though the people will die, the world will not come to an end. Even though you were to die, the world will not halt in its pace. This is the reality of reincarnation. The end cannot be prevented. After we perish, we will not depart towards the afterlife, instead to a world with different settings and continue to avoid the end. There was no need to prove that the afterlife existed or not. Comparing to leaving for a world that we do not know whether it existed or not, it would be better to re-experience the same world again. True, if I could continue to exist, so... Enough, I thought. However, is that possible? Is the end going to repeat itself? Sure enough, my friends gave me a little push when I was struck in confusion. It won't do. Even though I don't know why it won't do, it won't do. That was how I felt too. Even though it doesn't matter, but I'm not satisfied. Not satisfied? What are you talking about, Kokoto? I asked uncertainly. She looked reluctant and was a little embarrassed. Even though they were the same kind of circumstances, there were a lot of things that weren't so bad. With the endings that were always sad, didn't it somehow make you feel like there was something you could do? She gave us a look and brought us out of the apartment together. Diamond shape. After the announcement by the management world was broadcasted, the city looked like a parade. There was fire everywhere, angry shouts, cheers, horrible shrieks, wails. There were all sorts of sounds that humans could make, all of those that we could think of. Since the capacity of the world had been used up, it was best to reduce the amount of things that could move, though there were even religions that had these kinds of nonsensical ideas appearing, so the whole world already had half of its population destroyed before the dawn arrived. We got onto Kokoto's car. Onto? I like the idea that they're driving on top of the car. Left the area of the city that had already become a state of pandemonium and headed towards the mountains that had little to no people. The trip only took 30 minutes. Usually it would take an hour or more to reach this place because I could only catch the bus. We felt that we had already grown up at that place. Here we are. Let's walk, everyone. The gates that were rusty. The brick roads that were taken over by wild grass. This was a great skeleton that no one would be able to come back to. Ryan Girls Academy had already been turned into a big, great rubble. Cannot remember when she turned into this. I pushed the overgrown weeds aside, pushed onto the gate that was barely holding on, and tried to recall the building for the students. The weird thing was, the lights in the academy were still up. We passed through the green paved roads under the blue light emitted from the lamp outside. Not long later, we reached our goal. I remembered now. That's right, it was here. 10 years ago, someone moved that thing. Azaka Kokoto's personal item. The person that was called Azaka Kokoto's sensei's remnants. Oh. Is Toko dead? What? We were playful, so that thing... We placed it in a box that looked traditional at the same time modern. The door into the lobby was opened. We passed through the halls to reach the second floor. The corridor and the stairs were filled with dust, and we reached the atrium, the hotel's projection room. 10 years ago, and now there they were, where the unfortunate thing happened before. The fifth friend that was not here. We abandoned that person, and she won't be able to witness this end. Are you ready? I will open the door now. No matter what happens, please don't panic. The door opens. Kata, 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 kata. That's the sound of a door opening. We heard the sound of something solid that was moving. Blue light enveloped the whole room. The room still had the sofa that could accommodate 6 people and a projector with a tape that was projecting. I say, could it be? I reached out my hand and touched the young girl's shoulder. The young girl that was wearing the Ryan Girls Academy uniform fell with a thud. Oh my god, I shouldn't read ahead. Oh my god. My eyes are bad at wandering ahead. She was already dead. She died a long time ago. This was the body she left behind 10 years ago. I felt a sudden dizziness, as if I could faint immediately. I mustered up my courage and pulled out the student's identity card that was in the pocket of the body. Why? Shizune Seo. 10 years ago, that was the name of the young lady that was abandoned. What the frick is happening? I felt so dizzy I could hardly stand up. Before the dawn could arrive, my world had already turned dark. This was also a kind of world end. I quietly closed my... Before that, let us make sure of it. If everything is fake in the end, what is the real thing? I heard a voice from somewhere. It was what made me halt. That's right. I still wanted to avoid failure. It would be no different as compared to the times before if I were to continue to drift along. I closed my eyes, because I found the answer that only belonged to me. I thought back on the things that had happened when my consciousness faded away. Which one was the actual topic? Well, there was no doubt about it. This was a story to find the real killer. Or rather, it was a journey to differentiate between the real and the fake. Well, what is fake? Of course, it's referring to the unfortunate situation that could not have occurred naturally. We were ordinary students. It was impossible for us to reach a zombie apocalypse, or to be dragged into a murder case, or something of a virtual reality. Among them should be a stage. Subject, first person point of view, and object, stage. Which side of it was real for humans? After understanding this, please read the story. What? Please read the story again and you will find the answers. What? I feel that subject. The relationship was either real or fake. First chapter. Objective. The settings of the stage were real or fake. Second chapter. Philosophy. Which point of view was real or fake? Which is it I should head towards? Did this pull a choose your own adventure where now you need to go back? What? What? This is the weirdest story. It's literally saying, hey, go back, read it again, now you should understand. Stories don't do that. What? I'm not going to read it again. If you want to read it again, you can read it, but I'm going to continue. Which is it that I should head towards? Okay. Like hell it would be. I will not follow that kind of rule. The corpse moved. The body of the young lady that was wearing the uniform stood up from the floor when she said those lines. Seo, you were still alive. Kokuto-san, Asagami-san, Oji-san ran towards Shizune Seo that was a body before. I coldly stared at the scene before me. It was because I could foresee the futures that I should not see, I was led blindly by you. What Azaka-chan said was true. Everything had already ended since the beginning. It was a trap to continue on predicting the future. So, I am dead since the beginning to be able to trick you. I did not see it as a trap. Since the beginning, I did not know she had other methods, because she, Shizune Seo, had the ability to foresee the future that was rare among humans. I, on the other hand, only had the knowledge of the stage settings for the story's ending. I remembered. This was not the academy 10 years ago, or 10 years later, or the zombie world, or the hotel world. This was the academy's projection room. It was during the incident when Azaka-chan, Fujino-san, and I, as well as Misaya-senpai that was an alumnus that became a director, were together. Someone touched the projector that Azaka-chan brought. This is the world after that incident. The projection room collapsed. It turned into an empty world after it was found to be fake, unconvincing when the tape was at its end. We were only able to act out the story for 90 minutes. Since you were the camera, your lens was always on us. That's right. Why did you recognize that was me? Obviously, this is Ryan Girls Academy where girls without boyfriends congregate. You are commuting in a co-ed school. Moreover, you, who already have Mikaya-san, will not be here. Mikia-san will not be here, Shiki Ryogi-san. What's going on? That's what I feel. This was definitely interesting. I smile without knowing the reason to it. This could be a smile that was supercilious. I don't know what that word means. What does supercilious mean? I'm Googling it. Behaving or looking as though one is superior to others. Okay. Because this is... Oh, bring up the words again. Because this is too interesting, I pulled out my katana to make the scene a little more epic. What? What is she trying to do? Her murderous intent is strong. Sayo, was that really Shiki? You two, get down. To protect the other two that were being suppressed by my aura, Asagami-san stepped forward. Please bend. The merciless mystic eyes of distortion, the attack that was invisible to the naked eye. I effortlessly cut through the red and green helixes caused by the distortion and aimed to sever the neck of Asagami-san that was rushing forward. Please fall back, you will be cut. She had only a step more to let me sever her brains off. It seems that Asagami-san's body was covered by some invisible item. This allowed her to escape my mae. Mae? My range of attack. Oh, it's a kendo term. How unfortunate. Sure enough, I should have started with Oji-senpai. This person's fairies were unable to one-hit KO, but if they were used to support the vanguard, that would be the best formation if she was devoted to that role. She herself, however, did not notice this. How unfortunate. Much thanks to Senpai, but we are sure about this now. No matter if Ryogi-san is real or not, it doesn't matter now. Yes, that is the source of all evil. However, Asagami-san, it was not obvious that your personality was that dangerous. Fujino was deemed to be only hasty, so why does that thing look like Shiki? Truth be told, this is really hard to deal with. I'm really irritated right now. Well, that you should ask yourself, Azaka-san. I am the end. My role is to end the story. That is why my role is to be the enemy that you could not defeat that was decided by you. Oh, true. We will never win against Ryogi-san. Yeah, that sort of fear that we can only experience once won't be that easily. I can win. I can win any time. That person, how strong is she? Please explain it in one sentence. It's the same level with a director unexpectedly giving a hard demand during the planning of an animation? Well, that's really undefined. What? That's undefinable, isn't it? Okay. They were a bunch of debut actors that are hard to find these days. That was why I couldn't be patient any longer. I still want to see every one of you some more. I also feel a bit of remorse for making fun of you till now. I'm starting to understand what this is. Is this literally saying, like, continuing the plot is not what they want to do? It's what it feels like. I don't know. Okay. Let's read this again. They are a bunch of debut actors that are hard to find these days. That is why I couldn't be patient any longer. I still would want to see every one of you some more. I also feel a bit of remorse for making fun of you till now. But I had no choice. My design principles were as such. I was only a machine that could project to the end. I always made the world exist in a paradox, and the price was that I was a projector that could only predict tragedies. Even with intelligence, I could not obtain their dazzling humanity, because objects do not need human emotions. Objects only needed values as a human. If an object thought more as a human, it will be damaged more easily. That was why the person who had made me, the depths of their hearts should be entirely non-human. However, I understand something. If she is not broken, we would not be able to wake her up. After listening to Shizune Seo's words, the other three looked up. They saw the undefeatable Ryogi Shiki, me, reveal a smile that was pessimistic. Okay, I understand, so let's go. I agree. If we were to continuously lose, it would not be healthy for our spirit. All four of us will deal with her together. Is that the objective? That's right. Don't show mercy. They teamed up together and confronted me. Since the beginning, there was never this kind of plot development. In other words, if they are not able to kill me now, they will spend the rest of their lives inside me, continuously acting out unlimited cycle of endings, conclusions, whereas the real body, may already die and rot away. That's right. The sky will become bright soon. Are you able to defeat the main character, Shizune-san? I smiled. I gave them a slight smile. They built a common front that will never exist in reality. Together, they tried to defeat the undefeatable enemy. Ah, this is such a wonderful world end. This time I can finally close my eyes quietly. So, let me get this straight. Asuka brought a projector. The projector interfaced with Shizune Seiyu's eyes. It became a being that took on the role of Shiki to put them in endless situations. Am I right? I don't know. I'm going to read a summary after for sure. Well, now it makes sense why it's called Recording's End, though. That makes sense. Well, here we go. Hey, what time do you plan to sleep until? Wake up, you 4 idiots. A sudden sharp pain came to my forehead. It felt like some kind of leather whip kind of thing hit my head. I, Shizune Seiyu, finally woke up. I finished it. The manuscript is already done. This is bad. Was it Tamaki-chan from the art department that came up for the manuscript? I hurriedly climbed up, but to see I was basked in a blue glow in a dark room. The room that was dark and bright at the same time. The old projector was running with some sounds. Its glow was projected onto the wall. There were a few chairs in the room. Asuka-chan and the others were lying on the floor. Standing next to the projector was a young lady dressed in a kimono with a face of unpleasantness. Ryogi Shiki-san. Ryogi-san, why are you here? You were the ones that called me to the cultural festival. I purposely came here but could not find any of you. Are you trying to get killed? I used up a whole day just to search for you. Well, that kind of rude tone could only be from Ryogi-san. Last year's summer we met due to fate. After that, Asuka-chan introduced me to the kimono young lady. Well, I say, where is this place? I felt that I had struck Shiki's body, and suddenly it seems that I was spinning around in the air. It was Kukinage. It's Kukinage from Aikido. Kokuto-san's body was as if a blade when it rushed towards us. I got a hold of her. I can't remember it really well. No, you mercilessly fended her off, Asagami-san. You didn't even spare a look towards Kokuto-san that was plunged headfirst into the wall. Instead of using all your powers, you caused the room that contains me in it. The other 3 people were lying on the floor. Asuka-chan, Asagami-san, Oji-senpai slowly woke up. They narrowed their eyes when their view fell upon the projector. While observing their surroundings in a daze, finally they noticed Ryogi-san and I. Shiki, why are you here? Go ahead and ask Seiyu. And Azaki, you brought this out? Right, that's it. Asuka-chan, Asagami-san, and Oji-senpai looked at the projector simultaneously. The projector was still running, but the most important film and film reel were taken out. Obviously, the film cartridge was being held in Ryogi-san's hands. Were you the one that stopped it, Ryogi-san? I guess so. The film that was being projected was really shabby, so I decided to turn it off. But there was no effect no matter how much I pushed the switch for the power supply. I became angry and took out the film. The movie stopped. Just like Toko said, it's a terribly defective item. Oh my god, well that makes sense. It's a projector from Toko, and of course, it's a magical item then. Okay. The projector worked by projecting the still images on film through the beam of light onto the screen by the machine. The film reel spun, and the film that had already been projected was fed onto another reel. Ryogi-san didn't care if the movie was still being played. She immediately cut off the film, then took down the rest of the film in the reel. So in other words, we escaped? Looks like it, even though the ending was hard to accept. Please tell me what's going on? Asuka-chan, Asagami-san, and I looked at each other. We don't know where to start. We understood roughly most of the situation. Even though it was hard to believe, we were sucked into the projector. Of course, it was not our bodies, but our souls. After that, we acted out like the characters in the movies that were projected. Group hypnosis, brainwave tuning, soul linking. Well, since it was left behind by Toko-sensei, if we look at the information booklet, there should be some kind of explanation. Oh my god, did you actually use it without reading the enclosed instruction book? Mario would be so mad. However, we were not concerned about the how, we were concerned about the why. The projector had what sort of reason to do that sort of thing to us? Azaka, you didn't know about this? This is a projector that could automatically produce a story. It could instantly project a movie even if there's no movie in the film, right? Oji-senpai? Without noticing, Oji-senpai began to seriously observe the projector. Really, it seems the films were empty. This sort of empty film will not have any movie, but there were still pictures being projected. That means that these stories were created by ourselves. Even though I don't know what is the principle, the projector is able to read the memories of the people here. Isn't this an initial production machine which uses ideas from a derivative work? Translator's note. Since I'm not sure what the meaning is, I'll explain to you my own words. The machine uses memories and converts them to film, referring to the derivative work, and produces films or movies with it, thus is an initial production machine. Okay. Well, that should do, OG. How did your brain turn faster than Azaka? Azaka-chan unhappily frowned her brow. I think that's furrowed. This was not coincidental, because my weakness was that I'm not that great with dealing with mental stress. If it was just like this, I wouldn't lose to anyone when I have reliable people by my side. ... Just like that, even though with basic... reading's hard and trying to think. Just like that. Even though with excellent basic performances specs, her mentality is weak. That was why Oji-senpai was loved by everyone. With the memories of the other people as material, that means the world was the wish that we wanted to come true? Well, hard to say. Rather than wishes, it was closer to fear or taboo in our subconsciousness. I could not accept zombies or demons or that kind of stuff wholeheartedly. Oh, I was the one that wanted zombies. Carrie. Zombie movie that came out in 2013? Or demons. Demon-possessing movie that came out in 1985 or something. The scenes with the splattering blood are exciting, right? I did not expect to see a reference to 2013. You know, I'm not even gonna think about it. Nope, that's fine. Okay. It should be my fault due to the presence of some elements of mystery, but Asagami-san, your taste should only suit mild stuff. If so, the place that looked like Tokiwa should be because of Seo. No, it's Oji. Cough, cough. Anyway, the machine was the cause of everything, right, Ryogi-san? According to the creator, it acted like a projector and director. It was the best machine to provide the ultimate entertainment. It was the next generation creators made to tailor fit the fast food era, I heard. Huh. Okay. You heard? Because it was faulty? Because it used the people as the materials, even if their bodies will rot, it'll continuously broadcast films? No, it won't kill the materials, right? Because this was a machine that was designed with the idea, if there's an audience, it would have to provide stories forever. If you were to point out its flaws, it should be about the consciousness, the soul. The function was perfect, but it rejected itself. Rejected itself? It was just a machine that produced stories, but it could not accept that it will only do just that. Even though it was given the wisdom to produce films that others could be happy, that wisdom resulted in conflict. I want to capture a world that is happy, but the world will always end. No matter how happy the plot, the world will end no matter what. That kind of feeling. Oh, that makes sense. Oh, God. Oh, that's a terrifying idea. The idea that every bit of media, because it ends, is intrinsically terrifying for the characters inside of it because of the fact that there's an unstoppable end of the world no matter what. That's kind of messed up. I don't want to think about that. Oh, God. Oh. Okay. Let's continue. So that stage, it was that happy, but it was just as sad at the same time. The projector wanted to allow people to experience entertainment that resembled dreams. However, there will always be an end. No matter the process of obtaining happiness, if it was a movie, it was a machine, the world will end in a mere 90 minutes. It was a machine with a sole purpose to project out the paradise of realities. The more loyal it is to its duty, the more wonderful the paradise will be ruined. Just like a human life, as it was in a movie, there would be difficulties in accepting endings, so the machine became faulty. It lost its way. Since endings were unavoidable, it projected the next story to hide the previous sad ending. Well, the conflict between the function and the consciousness, the projector only wanted to provide us with happiness since the beginning. No, it was just following our orders to provide happiness. Right, no matter how sad the story is, the machine could not accept the fact. It's too romantic for it to be a dream maker. Ryogi-san produced a small knife out of its kimono. We're using it for Ryogi? Okay. I named it towards the projector. I recalled back the endings of the previous few stories in a daze. That's right. Reality, no matter what, will always be sorrowful. We could not even come to terms with that fact. I, who could foresee the future, understood that life will always be sad no matter what. However, we continued to work on our life. We tried our best to change it into a comedy. We lied to ourselves that we were the happy ones. Was the principle of the movie. I saw the end of the world come from a dark shore and felt sadness. It was not me who had felt it. That me with emotions and me were not related. Can you let me have that projector? Har? That's a good sound. Ryogi-san turned around and unveiled a happy face. Asaka-chan and Asagami-san looked at me in disbelief. What let you or not? This is whoa, suddenly cussing. This is a piece of shit that the annoying bitch left behind. That's Ryogi, all right. It doesn't belong to anyone. This is a dangerous item that needs to be destroyed. Can't you understand this principle? Then give it some sort of insurance, like cut its power supply for 3 hours or something. That kind of small equipment. I say, if that easy, Toko will not... There won't be a problem, I think. This guy, it's just a projector. It was just on its battery. It'll power itself off after 6 hours. Hey, Asaka-chan unplugged the projector main power cable. Even though it was too obvious, the projector always set up on the socket. Huh. Ryogi stuck out her tongue and kept her knife. It could be because she was unhappy that the prey ran away when it was so close, so she released her anger by pulling the plug out of the socket. Clack, 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 clack. The projector finally slowed it quietly down. From the longest of times that the projector was running non-stop, it could finally rest. The rumor about the magical movie theater among the 7 most unexplained myths in Ryan, it was a thing in the past since then, a few months ago. Okay. Whew. So, I'm okay with it. Why do you run away when the cultural festival was really lively to watch a movie? Oh, okay, that makes sense, yeah. Right. What was it again, Azaka-chan? The main reason was Oji-senpai. Oji-senpai was already graduated, but she wanted to search through her luggage, so she found Toko-sensei's projector when she was searching through my stuff. Weren't you the one who said, let's play it and see, and dragged us all the way to this hotel? Well, I just wanted to see if it was broken or not. Ah, that's right. Your university entered the film appreciation competition, right? You said that even though you didn't become a manga artist, but at least it was like working on continuing the work of the artists that was something was left behind or something. God, some of these sentences are so hard to read. Senpai really made a scene, and she rubbed her cheek on your projector. It was a really stiff reaction of yours when spreading your wings. Your spirit valve was screwed on too tightly. I don't understand this sentence. Thank you, translator, for being honest. Screwed on too tightly? That was too mean, Kokuto-san. What? It was defective, so it'll have no problem? It's just a prop, it won't break any school rules, that sort of thing? I shouldn't have listened to you. You're right, Oji-senpai. We didn't look down on you. Instead, we really admire you. Oh, that's good. Right, that's really, really good. I say, don't you think it's like deja vu? Oji-senpai's face was red because she was ashamed. It was because she was angry. For the sake of Senpai's name, let's leave it things as it is. Are you done? Come with me for a moment, Oji. Someone's waiting for me at the school's gate. Har? I like that sound. Why me? Among all of us, the only one that could allow outsiders to enter is you. Stop spreading nonsense, let's go. Just treat it as a repayment for saving you. Hey. Ryogi-san grabbed Oji-senpai's hand, dragged her away, regardless of anything. I observed that future, foresaw that the future within the next half an hour. I couldn't help myself and smiled bitterly at the future that was all cruel as hell. The person that was waiting at the gates, you don't really need any powers to be able to predict who that was. Speaking of, that last battle between Ryogi-san and us... It's useless, Seo-san. That remark was rather tasteless. Asagami-san smiled as if she was a little kid that did a prank. Let's keep it a secret. No matter the era, it'd be best if the ending was not revealed. My dear friends gave me that deja vu look. Shimatsu Rokuon end. And there's an epilogue as well. So let's just do this. We got the time. Autumn still arrived. It caused people to return to their warm sleep. It dyed all the leaves in the forest red. Despite the idea of being a tearful child away from civilization, even a girl dormitory life would be enjoyable. We are Ryan Girls Academy. It was also tailored fit for the cute young ladies, us, as the "Since you are here, you will only be a winner if you're a rare creature." What the frick does some of this mean? Oh my god, would I kill for an official translation? Oh my god, this is rough. I apologize. I apologize. I wish there was a clean-up translation. I would literally pay people to clean it up. Okay. Anyways. It was also tailored fit for the cute young ladies. As the "Since you are here, you will only be a winner if you are a rare creature." A place that was filled with excitement and romantic, weather-independent motorized fortress. Words. Even though there were countless cruelties that were described in this book, only 10% of what was written happened in reality, so to all the juniors, you have nothing to worry about. Time flies, and I will soon be participating in the 3rd cultural festival after entering high school. This series was supposed to be published without a schedule. Instead, it was published as a separate issue as part of The Last Gift. Wait, is this actually being published now? What? Oh, God. Oh, why would you do this? That's very confusing. Okay. Instead, it was published as a separate issue as part of The Last Gift. The magazine has always been arranging the works of the 7 most unexpected stories collected from different classes and clubs, but this time it's about the things that the author myself had experienced, as well as my friends. That they were mostly rendered, which are just fictional stories. How much of it was real or created, it's up to you. Who is going to spend your time at Ryan to find out the answers. Beware, if you were to stay at Natsume Hall, never stay with 8 people at the same time. If you were to obey this rule, I promise you that all of you will experience an indescribable night. So, the latter is some gossip. The time in Ryan that I thought since the time in Ryan that I thought since I first entered that will last forever will come to an end. It's been 6 years since the beginning. The sentimental teenage time. I'd spent it all in this academy. It was still alright, even though there wasn't much freedom. No matter the friends that I could only meet here, no matter the nuns I admire, all those that will become distant, very distant to me. Even if we were together again, the times where everyone was happy in this isolated academy will never come back again. The me right now felt really sad, and at the same time really proud. I finally experienced the feeling that the previous senpais had experienced, the end of our youth. This will not be recorded down anywhere. It was part of me, the last pain. This is also a kind of world end. No matter if there were tears or happiness, the end will come. In the end, the world will still move on, so I don't have the time to close my eyes. No matter how many things were to leave, we will still admonish ourselves to go with the flow, and to prepare for the next stage. In the future, if you encounter another person, please tell him or her the end you had experienced. Although there are most that will forget about it, there are some that you will remember in your hearts. Many things, even in the past, if left alone, will strongly hinder me in the next scene. If it is a fortune that we meet by chance, I wish to listen to your fun stories of the end that you saw at that moment. Anyhow, if you forgot it immediately, even if I'm alone, I might meet people who can remember me forever. Never mind. Finally, I would like to mention Chairperson of Literature Club, Takamaki-san, for giving me this opportunity to write this book. Roommate Miss A assisted me until the very last minute. Friends unwillingly gave me permission to use episodes. Miss F is a proofreader, and I will not forget the winter during the high school first year. And I want to thank M. Senpai that gave me warm coffee when I was trembling while holding a pen in the female toilet. The book is dedicated to me, those girls, and the girl that is still revolving till now. And that is the end of our book. Hmm. I'm going to be very real. Very confusing. But on purpose. And as soon as you learn the twist, things kind of pop into place. Much like with Garden of Sinners as a whole, as a franchise, it's kind of best experienced twice, where the first time you experience it, you're going with the flow. And then once you know where it goes, it makes the second time a lot easier, right? I'm gonna just do a quick. I'm gonna do a quick read of the summary to see if there's anything that I missed, because it's definitely a thing. It's tough to read and think at the same time. Read aloud, that is. So, Garden of Sinners, final record. I'm going to go to the page of the Type Moon Wiki here. Final record. So let's give the it a read. How will this look if I were to put on the fandom wiki here? Will it look good? Will it look bad? Looks bad. Never mind. That's okay. I'll just read it out loud. Shizune Seo, Azaka Kokuto, Fujino Asagami, and Misaya Oji have their souls pulled into a sentient movie projector. Wow, it just says right away. It just says right away, huh? Right away it spoils the twist. Left Behind by Toko Ozaki is a form of self-sustaining next-generation entertainment during cultural festival. The projector creates a loop of 90-minute movies from the nightmares or fantasies of the four, portraying the four as the main characters, and after 90 minutes of the real world and a much longer amount of time in the movie, okay, the world within the movie will end no matter what magecraft or ESP the characters within attempt. The one to end each loop is the character of Shiki Ryogi, who's actually the projector itself, personified as an insurmountable obstacle to the four. Okay. Yes, that makes sense. After experiencing the destruction of the Earth, a zombie apocalypse, a murder case where everyone is killed, the four finally realize they're in a dreamlike loop and confront Shiki together in the new virtual reality world, even though they know it is hopeless. Before the end of the fight, however, the real Shiki pulls the film from the projector, freeing the souls of the four. Even though Shiki wants to destroy the projector, Shizune takes it home and modifies it so that it is not dangerous. On her third year as a high school student, she returns the projector and presents a book during the cultural festival, challenging new students to find the projector for an unforgettable experience. She laments there is no record for her experiences in school, but remarks that the world is like a set of movies and the stage is constantly changing, with an end of the world after every stage. She hopes that even after the end of a stage, there will remain people who remember the events that occurred. Finally, she dedicates the book to Azaka, Fujino, Masaya, and Shiki. Wow, that is much better translated. I really wish that that level of detail was given to this there. Wow, okay. Yeah, that makes a lot more sense. Wow, okay. So something I missed, which now will probably make, again, a second reading make a lot more sense, is the idea that the main character shifts around. I was very confused at whose perspective we were seeing. It didn't necessarily... And this is a problem with Nasu's writing style. And it even comes up in the visual novels. He really likes to have multiple characters speaking dialogue without saying the words said, which is a problem because sometimes it's tough to say who's saying what, right? Fate gets that problem solved with the voice acting. Easy peasy, you can tell who says what. I'm having that problem in Tsukihime sometimes, where you're having this dialogue and you're like, I don't know who's speaking. It's... you know, this, and then this novel, you're reading it, and it's like, oh my god, who's saying this? Oh my god, this sucks. So, I don't think this needs to be animated. It's a nice little extra movie, I feel, for sure. Or extra sort of a story. It doesn't wrap up. It feels just like it feels like an OVA, right? It feels like a short little, hey, you want one more story with the characters? Here you go. Which is nice. A few, again, cameos from other characters, but otherwise, yeah, definitely not necessary, I think. I think I would not put this as a necessary thing to read for it. However, yes, I would say Future Gospel, definitely. But with that, we're done. We are done with reading The Garden of Sinners. As for what we're going to be doing after this, we're not going to be doing another reading right away. Instead, we will be continuing on with the Prisma Ilia commentaries. And as well, I'll be back to reading some more Tsukihime because I took a quick break, and that'll be back soon too. So thank you all for watching, and we will see you next time for another reading in the future. Ciao.